Brendan, thank you for coming on Facebook Louder. You're brave.
Yep.
Now, let's get stuck straight in, right? You were a Liberal Democrat.
I am.
You're a councillor in Cwmbran.
Yep.
Why Liberals?
Why Liberals? My political journey is quite an interesting one.
Okay.
So, did not expect to go into politics. So, by the time I was 18, I was in college studying mechanics, thinking I was going to pursue a career in the automotive world.
Okay.
And decided that wasn't for me.
Right.
And I looked at all the political parties and thought, who best aligns with my values? Who do I think is going to best represent me?
Sure.
Got pretty tired of my community being represented by Labour and nonetheless being let down by them.
Same here.
Yeah. As for the Conservatives,
Same.
yeah, same. You know, I saw what the two parties have done to communities up and down, not just the UK, but Wales more precisely.
Yeah.
So, you know, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of industry, which is just completely being dilapidated. So I think there are a lot of people in Wales that are hungry for change.
Yeah.
And they are looking to other political parties, whether that be Reform UK, Plaid Cymru, the Greens or the Lib Dems. Basically what's happening is two-party politics, and I've been saying this for some time now, is officially dead.
Do you think that's a good thing?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think we need plurality in politics. I think we need a lot more people with more views, more opinions.
It brings competition to the table as well, doesn't it?
It does. I think we need a lot of competition. I
Yeah.
think we need people who can bring new ideas and new policies and new conversations to the table, albeit in good faith and civil.
Yes.
But yeah, I think for me, being a Liberal is kind of where I need to be, where I want to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Liberals, to me, we talked about this off camera, is the party that the universities fought for.
Yep.
Because they hated the Conservatives.
Yep.
Uni students generally do. The Labour weren't cutting it, but the Liberal Democrats seem to be the progressive party to bring change.
Yeah.
Where do you think that has gone wrong? Because the Liberal Democrats have gone down in number, and they are not as present, especially in the Senedd, as they were before. Where do you think it's gone wrong?
Messaging.
Okay.
I think also in terms of leadership, or rather lack thereof, and I mean that in the most diplomatic sense.
Yes.
I think we're also in an impossible position in Wales where in England it's a bit more easier, where we obviously have 72 MPs and many more councillors, but that's because they don't have the similar alternative as Plaid Cymru or the SNP, which makes it more difficult in the devolved legislatures. In Scotland, for example, we still only have 4 members of the Scottish Parliament.
Right.
Well, 5 after a Conservative defection, but we'll brush over that. So that can make it incredibly difficult when you're trying to appeal to the, not even the far left or left wing. You're just trying to appeal to the broad centre.
Yes.
You've got a lot of parties vying for that field. The Conservatives, Labour, and even Plaid Cymru now are attempting to change tack to appeal to more broad Labour voters, to try and get them on side in terms of the independence discussion, whereby they're saying we're not going to pursue independence in our first term. And I thought, but that's your ultimate goal. Whereas our goal is, well, we're open to Wales having more powers. We want Wales to, have the same parity as Scotland and get the justice it deserves, but let's not break away from the rest of the union and call it quits.
I'm hearing from the Liberals, and especially yourself through the conversation that we've had, is that they wanting to hear what the people of Wales want, not what the political parties want. What do the people want? And with that comes a lot of balance, because it's not a cut and dry. Oh, we're out of the of the UK Parliament. It's more like, hang on, let's have the independence conversation, but let's not cut off or spite our noses, because there's something that can be beautiful here in the unity of both.
Absolutely.
So do you think then, with the Liberal Democrats, I couldn't tell you who their leader was, which is concerning.
In Wales or the rest?
Yeah, in
of
Wales.
It? Oh, okay, yeah.
Right? Because there's no voice as far as I can see. There is no cut and dry answers. And when you haven't got a platform to have conversations like this, right, how do you get the message out there?
I think it's something that some of us in the party have recognised.
Yeah.
And it's kind of one of the reasons I reached out to you.
Yeah.
To try and give my party a platform.
Yeah.
And to show that we do exist, you know.
Totally.
We're still, you know,
Yeah.
in the plethora of Welsh politics.
Yeah.
And we have to promote ourselves a bit more.
Yeah, I agree.
I think I had a conversation with somebody, funnily enough, the other day about candidates putting themselves forward, and the answer I got was, the media won't give us any attention. Like, well, they won't give you any attention if you don't seek attention.
Sure, yeah. You've got to reach out.
You've got to reach out.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I thought I'd message you and say, look, you know, I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
In politics, I'm a Liberal Democrat, you know.
That's it.
You know, do you want to have a chat?
Yeah.
But it's also going out on the doorsteps and making sure that we have key messages to sell people.
Yes.
And we are getting there, but we're not fully there.
Right.
Like, no party has a real manifesto yet.
No, we're still waiting.
Yeah, we're still waiting for all manifestos and all policies. We have some policies that we can sell.
Yeah.
But we've got to keep
plowing.
Yeah, we've got to keep flogging them.
Yeah.
On the doorstep in the media, saying this is what we want to do if we get into government, or we have a chance of influencing policy.
Yeah. Now, the one thing we may disagree on this, so here we go, is Liberal Democrats are known for being left-leaning.
Yeah.
Now, Labour, and especially Plaid Cymru, have gone so far left that they're almost far right. Because they've come kind of from the spectrum. Right? What is the true value? Because, you know, one thing that we have disagreed on online is lefty liberalism. Right? Now, I believe there's a difference between liberalism and leftist liberal. Right? Now, I'm hoping that we agree on it. But what is, to you, the difference between a Liberal Democrat but being a lefty liberal?
I think if we're talking about being a lefty liberal,
I
think it's not respecting checks and balances.
Sure, okay.
And maybe not paying too much attention to the rules.
Yes.
Or law and order.
Yeah.
If you are a centre to centre-left sort of Liberal Democrat, you still respect, you know, the
structure.
Structure. You respect the rules, general law and order, you know, doing things that are still progressive, but pragmatic. So, you know, freedom, it's about freedom often, liberalism, freedom of speech. And what I often see, you know, if we're talking about lefties, and even people on the right, across the political spectrum, is they vouch for freedom of speech, yet they're more than willing to close down other people when they have a different opinion, and that frustrates me, because I see myself as a true liberal in that sense. I may be offended by something that somebody has said, but that does not give me the right to curb entirely what they have said. Right,
and we find this a lot. Now, again, we may disagree on this, but I find a lot with leftists, organisations, especially leftist news organisations, that they will shut down speech. Because, you know, negative comments come in, they'll delete them, right? There's something we don't do on Facebook's louder. No matter how grotesque the messaging is on there, we'll keep it up on it, right? And we are Christians, and some of the language, bear in mind I've got a potty mouth, but not like that. I know. But we believe in free speech. They have the right to disagree with me. Even if it's violently disagree with me, you still have that right to do that online. It's free speech. Where does the Liberal Democrats draw the line between having the structures of free speech where it doesn't become a violent fight outside?
I think that's where we draw the line.
Okay.
It's the harm principle.
Sure.
If you are inciting violence, inciting people...
Physical harm.
Yeah, if you're inciting that sort
Yeah.
of thing, then you've got to draw the line.
Yes.
And I think that's where it's sort of pragmatic liberalism. Liberalism, you know, it's respecting freedom of speech,
Yeah.
but within
Boundaries.
boundaries, yeah. You're not going out,
Absolutely.
you're not inciting people to go out into the street and cause a ruckus.
Right. So where do you stand on these people that have been arrested and jailed for putting a post up on immigration?
I think putting a post up is... it's a bit too far for me.
Yeah.
I mean, what they say is...
It's extreme.
You know, what they say can be extreme.
Yeah.
And what they say I probably vehemently disagree with.
Yes.
But if they're not inciting, you know,
Physical harm
or
Yeah.
violence or, you know, things that could be really dangerous
Yeah.
to society, that's when I then start to question the morals and the principles of the government. Are they just doing this because they want to shut down
Sure.
all conversation?
Yes.
But if you're going out into the street and protesting violently, then again,
There's
that's
the
where
line.
you draw the line.
And as
you can have
Christians-
peaceful protest,
Right.
but well, actually, under the current rules, you can't even do that
Well,
anymore.
no, that's it.
Uh,
But it's
thank-
double standards again,
Yeah.
because you've got Christians that want to go out on the street and protest. They're told no, they can't. We had this in London not so long ago. And then you've got the Muslims that want to go out and have a parade and protest, and they're allowed to do so. There seems to be this double standard, but I think there is maybe a fear that's come upon politics that if the Christians, and I'm not for protest, by the way, I don't like that type of stuff. I stay away from it. But for those who do agree with it, it seems like if you are a Christian nationalist, you are deemed dangerous. But if you are someone of another ethnicity, then because we are the UK and we are based on freedoms and welcoming people, then they can go ahead and do theirs. What would you do to be able to bridge that gap? So that everybody has the freedoms to be able to protest, everybody has the freedoms to speak.
Well, I think the one thing that's frustrated me in more recent times
Yeah.
is the Conservatives brought in legislation whereby peaceful protest was more or less prohibited
Yes.
for everyone,
Yeah.
regardless of ethnicity, group, political party.
Yeah.
If you were causing disturbance, you could be arrested.
Yes.
And that's still the case because Labour have decided not to repeal that legislation.
Right.
So for me, it's not so much about certain groups having a right to protest. It's about everyone having the right to protest. It's about everyone having that freedom to go out into the street and peacefully protest against something they don't agree with,
And I suppose
or they do
that's-
agree with.
It's equality, which is what Liberal Democrats are fighting for.
Yeah, it's
It is
esteem
equal.
of parity.
Yes.
It's equality across the masses, regardless of whether you're black, white, gay, straight, Christian, Muslim. It doesn't.
Everybody has the rights.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing that I've come to a conclusion of, two things can exist at the same time, right?
Yeah.
So I can be against, let's pivot a minute, LGBTQ, because that's, again, something that we may disagree on, but I can fight for their rights.
Yeah.
And make sure that they have a voice in the political arena,
Yeah.
and make sure that they're safe, and, you know, they're part of our communities, right? We've got to love them. That's what Christ says.
Yeah.
Love them. And disagree with their life choices.
Yeah.
Right? Two things can run at the same time.
They can.
How is that the leaning of the Liberal Democrats? Because I've seen a lot of promotion of the LGBTQ community. How does being a Christian like yourself fit into that?
So I will be very open
Yes,
and say that
please do.
I'm an openly gay man.
Right.
So I can come at this from the perspective of a Christian and a gay man.
Lovely.
And I think the Liberal Democrats are a broad church.
Yes. Yeah.
In terms of they're not all Christian,
Sure.
they're not all gay.
Yes.
And I think it goes back to the point you, funnily enough, made.
Yeah.
You don't have to agree with something necessarily to... You don't have to agree with somebody's life choices or
No, to love them.
to love them
No.
and fight for their rights.
Absolutely.
And I think there are a
Absolutely.
lot of people in society who do that. Speaking as a Methodist, for example, in the Methodist Church, there will be people that don't agree with certain social policy.
Sure.
LGBTQ plus rights, for example, as the main one that comes to mind. But they will still love that person nonetheless and make sure that they are included in the church, in society. So it goes back to that main principle of, I guess, love thy neighbour.
Yeah. And do you think we'd have a better society, right, if, even though we have different opinions on life choices, right, different views on the Word of God in that arena, you are as much loved as me.
Yeah.
And we are equal in God's eyes.
Yeah.
We are equally loved and cherished. If everybody maintained that standard, you know, our pursuit isn't happiness and to fulfill our my pursuit isn't to fulfill my marriage. Your pursuit isn't to fulfill that. It's to pursue Jesus.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That is our first point of call. Do you know what I mean? And when you've got Jesus at the forefront of everything, the rest doesn't seem to be such a
problem. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I do.
It's when people put their happiness, put their beliefs about their own lives and their own sexual leanings and everything above Christ. That's when we've got the problem.
Yeah.
Right? Pivoting now, again, to what do you think about Plaid? Now, because do I think Liberals are going to get in to power in the Senedd? No. Right?
Yeah. It's still very chop and change, choppy waters.
It's choppy waters, maybe in the future.
Yeah.
Right? But for this election in May, I think it is a game between Plaid and Reform. Everybody we've been talking to, street interviews, seem to be flopping and changing between these two.
Well, another podcast I was on, I made the point that it's either going to be Plaid or Reform UK First Minister.
Yes.
I mean, the way the winds are going at the moment, most likely a Plaid one, which will be Rhun ap Iorwerth.
Right. What do you think of them?
I've met him.
Yes.
I've met a few Plaid Cymru members of the Senedd.
Yeah.
And there are obviously things we agree on in terms of policy. I mean, you're always going to get that in sort of the centre-left political parties. There'll be things we similarly agree on.
Sure.
But other things where we predominantly don't agree on.
Yes.
Like independence.
Yes.
So my party takes the view that we should have sort of a federal UK, you know, devolve a heck of a lot more powers to Wales, but not shoot ourselves in the foot. And
do you think you have to be a only Wales party to be for the Welsh? Because that's how Plaid put themselves, is that we're a Welsh party and therefore we are going to do the best thing for Welsh people.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think that's a disaster. I think SNP as well, the same for them, and I think the Scots see the damage SNP have done to Scotland, and I think sometimes you need an outside force.
I agree.
To balance.
I think it has frustrated me at times when I've seen Plaid Cymru say that they are the only party for Wales and not realising that the Welsh Liberal Democrats, or what was previously the Liberal Party, have had quite a staunch history in Wales.
Yeah, well, they were the first
political
of the political parties. 1897 it was founded.
So to say that they're the only party of Wales... I think I need to go back to my Plaid Cymru colleagues and remind them that the first ever person to sort of talk about Welsh devolution and giving Wales more powers was a Liberal Prime Minister, David Lloyd George.
Yeah.
So the Welsh Liberal Democrats are rooted in Welsh history.
Sure.
And, you know, we often talk about how we need to promote Welsh culture, Welsh language. You know, it's not so much shoving it down people's throats, because not everyone... It's trying to balance it. Again, it goes back to that point you made about balance. It's protect the Welsh language and culture.
Right.
And ensure that we are still a party for Wales, but understand the wider political discourse and the political dynamics.
So really you believe that as a United Kingdom we're better together than we are apart?
Yeah.
Where did you stand on the Brexit argument?
I was too young to vote at the time.
Were you?
I was, yeah. I was.
Oh God, I feel so old.
I was a mere 15-year-old at the time.
Really?
But I kept on track, and
Yeah.
for me, my views weren't really formed. But after the referendum, I thought about it and thought probably would have been better off to have stayed
Okay.
in the EU,
Right.
as most Lib Dems believe.
Yeah.
And my party are calling to
For
have
a rejoin.
well, not so much rejoin, but to have a specific UK-EU customs union.
Yeah.
Because in terms of trade, for example, particularly in Wales,
Yeah.
Brexit has not worked in that sense.
But do you think it's because of Brexit, or do you think it's because we've had the net zero policies have really annihilated Wales? I was only speaking yesterday about the Talbot Steelworks, and the net policy has taken 4,000 jobs from us.
Yeah.
And has turned our blast furnaces into electric furnaces.
Yeah.
We're not going to be producing the amount of steel.
As much. No.
Yeah, you can't. It's impossible. You have to use recycled materials for those things. So they're not powerful enough to take iron ore. So what do you think about the net zero policy? And do you think that is it Brexit or is it net zero that's had the impact on us?
I think both.
Okay.
I think if we look at the farming,
Yes.
The farming sector here in Wales, they were very unhappy about proposals with the new sustainable farming scheme.
Yeah.
And I can understand why the Welsh Government wanted to implement it, but you've got to listen to farmers at the end of the day. You know, they're the ones putting food on the table, and they're struggling enough as it is, which is why they've also been, well, my party have also called against the family farm tax, as we're calling it.
Yeah.
Inheritance tax.
Yeah.
Farmers are being
It's terrible.
hammered. They're being basically hammered from both sides.
Yeah.
And so if we look at some net zero policies, they're not foolproof.
No.
I've worked as a transport officer, zero emissions transport officer, so I know a little bit about the sector in terms of transport, and there are some things that just don't work and some things that do.
Sure.
But it's also Brexit as well. I think with a lot of red tape, bureaucracy, when we were in the customs union, that red tape was not there. It made it easier to export and import for Welsh farmers. So,
do you think they can become self-sustaining in Wales without having those things if the money that went into the Senedd went to the farmers?
I think so. I think it's not impossible.
Yeah.
It would be made much better, I think, if we were in a specific customs union.
Yeah.
But there's nothing to stop the Senedd from implementing more farmer-friendly policies.
Yes.
And that includes the UK government as well, with their inheritance tax policy. There's been a lot of protests, as I'm sure you may have seen, with tractors going to Westminster. So,
and I agree with it all.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do. Our MP in Brecon and Radnorshire, or Brycheiniog Tawynedd, as it's known in the Senedd, he has been more or less on the side of farmers since day one. He's a pretty good spokesperson for it in Westminster.
Yeah.
So, to go back to the original point, I think Brexit has caused some problems, but not entirely.
Yes, there's multiple
multiple
issues.
strings.
Multiple strings. Okay, let's go to ideologies. Now, here we go.
Tough one.
Now, there's a lot. I'm of the belief that people with ideologies have hijacked certain sectors of our communities because they've wanted to create their own grouping within our community. And it's caused a lot of divisions. So you see that, as yourself, an openly gay man now has added letters, and it's become a popularity thing amongst the youth. But we have real issues now with children wanting to change their genders. We're introducing things into schools, which is also bringing confusion in, which as a Christian I completely disagree with. I'm a two-gender person. There's male and female, as the Word of God states. Okay. How would you tackle these ideologies that have creeped in and kind of stolen people's peace. I think that these people are in need of peace in their life and they're looking for that fulfillment that only Jesus can bring.
Yeah.
How would you deal with that as a Liberal?
Oof.
I know.
Yeah.
I'll have a slurp.
It's... yeah, I mean, I have these discussions often, funnily enough, and how I tackle them, you know, as a openly gay liberal Christian.
Yeah.
You can imagine the headaches that I have on social issues like this.
I can imagine.
So so to bring it to me for a minute, I don't openly go out into the street and say I'm gay.
No.
Either people can tell I am, or it comes up in conversation later on. But it's not something that I need to openly
declare from
broadcast.
No.
So, and that doesn't necessarily make me conservative or anti-gay, you know, or ashamed.
Just living your life.
Just getting on with life.
Yeah.
As most people in the LGBT plus community try to do.
Yeah.
But I think that there is this assumption that that community has an agenda.
Yes.
And that's not the story for all of us.
No.
If we're going to talk about, I guess, the education policy.
Yeah.
As for young people or children wanting to change their gender, I think that's been a massive conversation in the Liberal Democrats and the Young Liberals particularly.
Yeah.
And there are people of differing views.
Yeah.
It's still a very tricky conversation to have.
Yeah.
Because if you slightly differ, you are considered, well, you could be called a transphobe, or
Yes.
if you're a woman
Fascist
of a certain
and all
age,
this
a
stuff.
TERF,
Yeah.
trans exclusionary
Right.
radical feminist.
Yeah.
So if I have questions about transgender policy and how we deal with that issue,
Yeah.
or how we deal with teaching children about LGBT plus
Yeah.
topics, that doesn't make me, I mean, how could it make me anti-LGBT when I am myself? It's
Right.
just
Yeah.
being pragmatic. So
Sure.
as for young people learning about the LGBT plus community, if they're being told that some of their peers may have two dads or two mums, I think that's understandable, because kids may question that. I guess it's more about age-appropriate teaching.
But do you think those types of topics don't belong in the education sector? They belong in the home. They belong, that I've taught my boys the value of people. Right, everybody, regardless.
Yeah.
And that conversation, and parents are not having conversations.
No.
Let's put it right. The dinner table concept has long
gone
left.
out the window.
Yeah, but it's something I've established in my home. We round the table.
I grew up with it.
Exactly.
And I'm
Me too.
24. Well,
Yes.
25 in March, but
Yeah.
still young. But even I grew up with it. You
Yeah.
know, up until a certain point where
Right.
we would sit around the table.
But it's not promoted anymore. And so the parents are not having these conversations with their children. And their children, again, their education from the school system and friendship, peers of the same age, which are not developed.
Yeah.
And then we wonder why we've got a massive social issue that's pending.
Yeah.
Right? I think if parents took the initiative again, and that was something that was pushed by the Senedd, family values, sitting around the table, having a conversation, because it wouldn't just, impact your social aspects. Welsh language.
Yeah.
That's linked around the family table.
Yeah.
That it's, if you're not having the conversations, how are you going to maintain the Welsh language?
Yeah.
So do you think it is a concept that needs to stay out of the education and be placed back in the home?
I think my view is it takes a village.
Yes.
But I do feel a lot of responsibilities have been placed onto schools.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
in general, you've got some schools in the UK now having food banks.
Yeah.
So,
It's crazy.
and also I think, for me, whilst social issues are important, inclusivity, equality, diversity, they're all well and fine. They're not nice to have, they are important to discuss. We're in a country where we have many children and young people leaving school with a very low level or no decent standard of literacy and numeracy.
Totally.
So, in the frankest sense, I couldn't care less whether or not they know about
diversity.
One of their peers having 2 dads or 2 mums.
Totally.
I want to know if they're going to be able to leave school being able to read and write.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, you know, it is important, you know, and I don't want people to think for one second that it's not important and that we shouldn't have those discussions. But when we have children and young people being failed, even in terms of their basic standard of education, why on earth are we focusing on more wider issues when we can't even get the basics right?
It's true. But this is the same with the Welsh language. They want to introduce, well, make all English medium stores, the Plaid Cymru do, into Welsh medium stores, when you've already got a broken education system. They can't even read and write. Yeah. And then you want to add Welsh into the mix. Now, whilst that's a wonderful concept, and I believe that Wales, everybody should speak Welsh.
Well, the Welsh Lib Dems have taken a different stance. We want more young people, children and young people in schools to learn Welsh.
Totally.
But it's sort of a 3-tier system. You know, you sort of have 100% Welsh medium. Yeah. You would then have schools sort of in the middle, 50%, and then schools that only teach about 10%. So it's sort of, you know...
broad spectrum of it.
I guess it's sort of based on the needs, where and when necessary, and, you know, what can each school effectively do. Yeah. So it's important to promote the Welsh language. I mean, if you look at the degree I'm doing, which is sociology and social policy, if I'm going to be going into the policy sector or, you know, third sector, you often tend to find those jobs will either say Welsh essential or Welsh desirable. Yeah, yeah. So it can be a positive. It can be, you know, a really good thing. I wouldn't see it as a hindrance.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, we have to get it right. You know, it should really be about what can people realistically learn in such a space of time. And
as well, it's got to be treated differently across Wales, because you've got first language Welsh in different pockets of Wales. Yeah, yeah. But then you've got the industrialised Wales, which is zero.
Well, if you look at where I come from in Cwmbran, the majority of us first language English.
That's it.
Although a lot of people in Gwent are learning Welsh. Yes. You know, trying to promote it as best as we can.
And in Neath, we're the same, a mixed bag, really.
So it's growing.
Yes.
And I think, I don't even think that's been done by any government initiative. Well, some government initiatives, but some people genuinely have gone off their own backs, myself included, and have just thought, I want to learn more Welsh.
Yeah, and I think
this will help me going forward.
Right, and I think that's the thing, is creating a love for the language again, rather than pushing it as an agenda that we must get this through. It's got to be, let's invigorate people to love our culture again. Let's invigorate them to love the language, because when they love the language, they're more inclined to learn the language. Yeah. And I think the government is, or the Senedd has done that dramatically wrong.
I think that it's not foolproof.
No.
There are certain flaws in the approach.
Yes, and so what I'm getting is the vibes that the Liberal Democrat are more, even though you're left-leaning, is kind of left-centre.
Yeah, we're a very centre party.
Right,
more often than not. With centre-left, we're centre to centre-left. Right. We're a very niche party in that sense. There aren't many... Yeah. If I have to be honest, we're the only realistic party, if you ask me, that is vying for the centre ground.
Sure, okay.
For the moderate, principled people that just want solutions to everyday issues.
Yes, yeah.
That don't really have time for identity politics and culture wars.
Sure.
There's seriously no time to be worrying about that.
So what do you think then about reform? I know this is like like to the torch fire beer.
Yeah. Honestly, useless.
Okay. Why?
I'll give a perfect example. So, David Thomas,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
the regional director
yeah.
of Wales for Reform UK,
Sure.
lives in Cwmbran.
Yeah. Oh, so it's from same area. Right, okay.
He was just kicked off Cwmbran Community Council
Yes,
because he did not attend meetings for up to 6 months.
yes.
He stood in a by-election. I was the Lib Dem candidate who stood against him.
Oh, really? Oh, that must have been really interesting.
So he made out that he was going to fight on behalf of the people of Two Locks, get things done.
Right.
6 months, without attending meetings.
But wasn't that a voluntary thing? And now that he's elected, he's in a job role.
This is a point I made on my social media and got a lot of flack for.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Okay.
even from him.
Yeah.
The definition could be, it is voluntary in the grand scheme of things, but you do get some remuneration
Sure.
and expenses.
Yeah.
So I get a small allowance and I get to claim expenses if I need to. So it's not
Right.
entirely voluntary because
Because they wiggle it round somehow.
voluntary for me would assume no payment whatsoever.
Sure.
And I kind of tried to empathise with him when he said he was pushed and
Yeah.
pressed for time.
Yeah.
But there are many
That are.
people that are county councillors and community councillors and have other outside
Sure.
responsibilities
Yeah.
that they juggle, and
Yeah.
sometimes that argument doesn't wash.
So if we assume that he's dropped the ball there.
It just
What-
doesn't look good when you're the regional director.
Yes, no, I totally get it. It's not a good look,
Yeah.
right?
And now we're having to fight. Well, we found a candidate to stand in another
Sure.
by-election, but this is the third by-election, I think, in 2 years.
Oh, never. Wow.
Yeah.
But with Dave, there's a lot of what he says I agree with.
Yeah.
Right, and that's
I can understand
that's
why.
the toss. So it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and I think a lot of people feel this way because
Yeah.
he very much comes across boots on the ground, working class boy.
Yeah.
That's really understands working class Wales.
There's no doubt that, I think he and I both...
And bear in mind, I'm not for reform.
No.
But I'm seeing.
I wouldn't mind if you were.
Yeah.
I respect people's
Yeah.
different... I think he and I both agreed that we differ entirely.
Yes.
And we vehemently disagree on
On a lot.
positions.
Yes.
But I think he understands that, but I've always accepted that actually when it comes to being a county councillor, he's always tried to fight for his community.
Yeah. There's
Even
been a
in-
lot of positive.
Yeah, even in
comments.
sometimes not the most...
Diplomatic of ways.
Yeah. But admittedly, he has got things done.
But this is the thing, and I think this is what people are seeing in reform.
I don't like his methods.
No,
But
the result is the same. And that's something that Labour hasn't done.
Yeah.
They say they're going to do something, they don't do it. Now, we are in a predominantly Labour stronghold.
well, I was in a... so Two Locks, funnily enough, is the seat that
Right.
sadly David was kicked off.
Yes.
But on Torfaen County Council, it's represented by Labour and me and my colleague, who's top of the list.
Yeah.
For Sir Fynwy Torfaen, we went around and potholes, streetlights, litter, and we just thought, what's going on here? Do Labour actually
Terrible.
go around and, yeah.
Absolutely appalling.
I knocked on doors and I had people telling me nothing ever gets done around here anyway.
No.
And I thought, yeah, I can understand why you'd think that.
It's the same here.
Yeah.
Nothing ever does that. Our taxes are increasing all the time, right? Council tax, and nothing is getting done. It's getting worse.
Yeah.
And so what Reform are proposing is radical change. And I think people are so fed up, regardless of the personalities that are involved in Reform, because I'm personally Nigel Farage.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
My problem with Reform is...
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there are good people in Reform.
Yes, of
Not
course.
many that I've met so far, I'll be honest. But I'm sure there are.
I've only met one,
Yeah.
and I've got to say, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My problem with them, though, is honestly they seem more disorganised than us.
Right, okay, sure.
Because at least we have candidates,
Yeah.
some policies.
Do you think it's because they're
And a leader.
relatively new? Obviously, because you've been around since 1897.
Well,
Not
yeah,
you personally. But do you know what I mean? And they've been around for the best part of 4 or 5 years.
Well, I think even in the space of 4 or 5 years, you can at least try to scope out a leader, some policies,
Well, this
and
is
some
what
candidates.
I don't like the fact that we still haven't got a leader for the Welsh sector.
It's frustrating when they say they're on the cusp of being in government,
Mm-hmm.
and I hear them say that, and I think, well, if you're on the cusp of being government, who's your First Minister going to be?
Right.
Where are your candidates to get into government?
And why aren't they speaking about it?
And where are your policies to form a programme for government?
Right. Yeah. But no, this is what it feels very disrespectful to us as Welsh people, just being honest, that there's no First Minister put in place yet. But what I don't like as well is that they're not coming out and speaking about it, giving us a reason why. There's just nothing.
I have my own thoughts on it, and they may hate me for saying this, but they want to avoid scrutiny.
Oh, okay, sure. For the person they want to pick, or
they want to leave it up until the last minute.
Right.
By not having a leader, by not having a candidate, or candidates, or not having policy,
right,
they can't question anyone or anything, can they?
That. No, that's true.
They can't go to anyone and question them.
Because it's just so fast in. I never thought about that. That's an interesting concept.
It's not something, I say maliciously. It's
just, that
if you have no leader,
then what possible explanation could there be?
And people are in awe of Nigel Farage, so they're obviously using his status, keeping him in the picture, to still garner a decent amount of support, I would say.
Why do people like him? What is it? Like, I like their policies, don't get me wrong, I like their policies, I'm for what they're doing, but Nigel...
Yeah, a lot of people have said this, and I share the same view. He's a rich guy, but he gives off the impression that he's he's one of the lads because he goes down the pub and has a pint and smokes cigarettes.
Sure.
And it's like, that doesn't make you more down to earth, that just makes you a bit of a poser.
Yeah. Do you just think he's a savvy businessman?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But isn't that what we need more of in government, do you think? There's more businessmen?
No.
No?
I've seen...
some shocking ones.
Yeah. Dare I say, I don't think we need, I was a civil servant.
Okay.
Yeah, and a local government officer, No, I wasn't high up.
We'll edit that out.
I worked for the DWP. I worked in a job centre.
Sure.
And one of the weird things that always frustrated me was civil servants are prevented from standing for parliamentary elections.
Yeah, they are. Why?
Conflict of interest.
Oh, okay, sure.
But I don't understand why the rules could not be changed to say if a civil servant were elected, they would obviously resign their job.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So there won't be a conflict then?
No. And, these are people that are working for the government.
Yeah.
They see government policy or they implement government policy on the daily.
Yeah.
I would, you would think they could be trusted to understand government and run it, yet they're not even allowed to stand for Parliament.
Right.
Yeah. Same for local government officers.
Yeah.
They're in the council.
Yeah.
They see council policy, they implement council policy, but they can't stand for council unless they resign beforehand.
No way.
Yeah.
That's quite bizarre. So it's shutting down a sector of people who may understand the system.
Yeah.
So instead, what we've got...
So I can't go back into the civil service or local government
because you're in
without it affecting my political chances.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do you think then in Parliament, Senedd included, but UK Parliament I'm mostly talking about, we need less politicians or more? Because I'm of the belief that if we had a balance of politicians and businessmen, if we re-established the House of Commons and the House of Lords, as they should have been, does it's become very, very mixed.
Topsy-turvy.
Topsy-turvy, yeah. There's no defining house anymore. I think Parliament would function a lot better rather than having qualified politicians. Keir
Are they qualified though?
Well, apparently so. They have the qualification. They come from Cambridge and Oxford and all these places. Yeah. But I think Labour are a sterling example of that.
I think what we need is more working class people in politics. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean to say they can't have a degree. I mean, let's put it this way. No. I'm a white working class lad.
Yes. With a lovely accent, can I say?
Thank you. Much appreciated. But yeah, I'm a white working class lad, and I'm from the background that is least likely to go to uni.
Right.
but finally have had the chance.
Yeah.
Well, I'm now going to university.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean to say you can't have politicians
No.
that come from a background like mine with, you know, they can still have a degree, but they understand real life.
Yes.
Because they've lived it beforehand, you know. I've been on universal credit. I've struggled with my rent. I've struggled with the bills, you know. I've seen...
Your common issues.
Yeah, your common issue. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, I go out and I walk out of my front door and I see bins overflowing and street lights not working, and I just think, what a dump.
Yeah.
My MP doesn't do that though, because, you know, with respect to him, he's the Minister for working with the EU, but...
Right. But this is why they need to surround themselves with your common folk.
Yeah.
They need to hear...
People who are on the ground.
Right. But when there's been changes, obviously when Conservatives come in, and they are mostly to blame about this, is taken off the high street, where you could walk into an office and talk to your local MP.
Yeah.
You could talk to people about your grievances. Where they've all gone.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
You can't go in anymore. So you can't
You have to make an appointment.
Right. And this
like
is...
a GP.
Like a GP, yeah, which you can kind of never see.
No, exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Or a dentist, which is just...
I guess you can't see your GP or your MP.
No, it's true. So we've got real fundamental issues of getting people, working class Welsh people, engaged in politics again, because it's so far removed.
They're disenfranchised.
Right.
Which is... And I get why those people look at Reform and think, that's the party for me.
Yeah, yeah. And do you really think it's going to be played, or do you think Reform will step on? Because I personally, having gone out and talked to people, there's a lot of people we've talked to that said, I want film on camera, but I'll tell you who we're voting for, and they've done Reform.
I'm still sceptical.
Yeah.
Between you and me, and everyone else watching this.
Yeah.
But you see the polls, and it's dictating that it will be a Plaid Cymru. Not a majority, but enough to, you know, for them to have the first pick of running a government.
Absolutely.
But this is a totally different election.
Yeah.
New voting system, 36 more seats, a new party on the scene.
Yeah.
People's political attitudes have dynamically changed.
Yes.
So I think anything is up for grabs at the moment.
It's quite exciting, actually, isn't
it? It really is. It really, and I say that because there's still an opportunity that even my party could hold the balance of power.
Sure. Yes.
And work with a party. I'm not going to say which one,
But every party needs representation in the Senedd.
Yeah.
That's one thing we can agree on, is that every party, because we need the conversation across the board.
We do.
It can't be a two-party thing back and forth. How does the Liberal Democrats fit in that? Because obviously with federalism, you kind of got this two-party feel. Obviously, United States is based on the same concept. So where do you sit on that? Do you believe everybody should have a say, or are you more just have two parties, Democrats, Republicans?
Oh no, I think a lot of people don't like me because I'm more open to compromise.
Yeah?
I wouldn't say don't like me.
No,
they don't like...
You like the common ground.
Yeah, I
balance.
think some people think I'm probably more tribal.
Sure.
But deep down, I can talk with the best of Plaid Cymru Greens. I'll speak to anyone who is open to making people's lives better, regardless of party.
Yeah.
You know, so for me, plurality is a big thing.
Sure.
You know, having everyone's voice, even if I disagree with it. You know, it's a case of you've got to hear people out.
Yes.
As for the federalism argument, I'm open to it. And you know, there's different forms of federalism. There is confederalism, where you sort of have a independent Wales, but more still tied up, sort of in a union sort of way, like a bit like the EU.
Yeah.
And then you just have federalism, which is Wales gets loads more powers in terms of tax, revenue, police, rail, the Crown Estate, all those sort of things.
Yeah.
And things like defence, foreign policy are left up to Westminster.
Sure. Now, let's talk about the devolving Crown Estates, because I'm quite passionate with this.
A lot of people are.
Right.
My council was the last one to sign up to it.
But I don't agree with it.
Really?
No.
Oh, right, okay.
No. I am a supporter of the monarchy.
Okay, yeah.
Not necessarily Charles, but the institution of the monarchy, I am.
Yeah.
It's a biblical concept. We've always done a monarchy in the Bible.
I can understand
right?
that.
And so devolving any of the Crown assets to me is a no-go. Where do you stand on where Wales sits? Because if we were to achieve independence and sovereignty, right, where does the Prince of Wales sit within the monarchy? Because we're so integrated with the UK. I think people don't think about these things.
No, they don't.
No.
I had this conversation on another podcast.
Yeah.
About how some of the discussions around how an independent Wales would work are not being had.
Right.
Where's the blueprint?
Sure.
Where's the facts, the figures, I'm not sold on the idea of independence yet because nobody has sold the idea to me. So I can't be for it.
Right.
As for the, if it were to happen, as for the monarchy, I guess it would be non-existent.
Wouldn't that be such a tragedy for Wales? To not have that royal aspect, as that goes back, 1,000 years. Do you know what I mean? It's part of our heritage as Welsh people.
It is.
To have a say in the monarchy.
It is. However, the last Prince of Wales, the Prince of Wales at the moment is English.
He is. And I'm okay with that.
Are you?
Yes, I am okay with it. Because I don't think, personally, being Welsh, I think it's all about not where you were born.
Yeah, I mean, I was born in Exeter, for crying out loud,
sure.
So maybe I shouldn't have too much of a say, but...
I think it's all about your love.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I've got a friend here, she born in England, moved here, and she says, I'm Welsh.
Yeah.
I'm Welsh. Because the love for Wales outweighs the love for anywhere else. That's a Welsh person to me.
Yeah.
So I do think that having a monarchy, having a say in the palace is really important as Welsh people. But it also goes back to our heritage and our history. On that same vein of independence, people don't understand that there would have to be borders, which mean
yes and no.
But what? Well, how would we have? We need our own military.
We do.
Which we don't.
Well,
we have a very small.
Yeah, we wouldn't need to. I mean, there are other countries. Hypothetically,
hypothetically,
hypothetically. I mean, there are other countries that stay pretty neutral, like Ireland and Switzerland.
Yeah.
Very small armies.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean to say we couldn't do the same. I'd feel uncomfortable with that position.
Yes.
Personally, I'm not. I mean, I come from a military family. My father was in the army, so.
Yeah. Me too, Navy.
Yeah. So not pro-military, I'm not pro-war or anything, but it's important to have a defence.
That's it. Well, because if we were attacked now, say Russia now decides to attack the UK, if we were independent, the UK Parliament have no allegiance to defend Wales.
Not necessarily, no. Unless we were in NATO, but even that's a conversation in itself to have. Wales would have to decide if it wants to join NATO.
Right.
And
see
from what I gather from Plaid Cymru and the Greens, they wouldn't want that.
No. So it's a very complicated subject.
Yeah.
There is no, there's such a vast grey area.
It is.
When it comes to independence. Yeah. And even though I think that maybe at a later point that it's a possibility, right, there is so many steps in that process to get anywhere near the reality of it. Last question. Do you think Wales needs radical change right now?
Absolutely.
How do we do it?
We elect people that want to actually implement it.
Right.
And don't just say what people want to hear and go against the grain.
That says it all.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming down, Brendan. You're now a friend of mine.
Thank you.
No, great. Thank you.